So you have new data on your worksheet or your workbook or your system, new data that you want to add or append to an existing table in your SQL Server. This video for absolute beginners is for you. So I'm going to take you on a step-by-step process on how you're going to do that. Okay, so in my previous video I showed us how to load a data from a CSV worksheet format to a table from worksheet format and load it to your SQL Server. And today I have new data I want to append to that table that I already created in my previous video. Okay, so same way we're going to go about it. You go to your SQL Server folder, right? Select your import and export wizard. You go next. Our data source is an Excel worksheet. Okay, now I want to pick my file. So the whole process is virtually the same, right? Just a tiny bitty few things that may change. I used all right, so at this point I'll select I'm loading to an OLEDB driver for SQL Server properties. So if you don't have your server name, you can collect it from your studio and paste it. Remember, I said if you're using the developer version, it's going to be just your system name. If you're using the express version, you're going to have something like backspace and SQL Express. Okay, but I'm using the developer version. Next up, select the database. Okay, yep. Make sure that this is at least Windows application for absolute beginners. Make sure you select your database where your table already exists. So the first part of this table existed on my database 2 table. All right, so that's where I'm going to load it, and then I say OK and select next. Copy data from one or more tables, sure. Now at this point you want to watch this, guys. If I select edit mappings, okay, if I do select edit mappings, you see it's still what it has here for me is create destination table. Okay, it has create destination table, but what I actually wanted to do is to append this table to my previous table, and you can see append rows to the destination table. That option is not available, right? And the reason is because that the both tables have different names. So what I can do is make sure that they have the same name by removing that dollar symbol. You remember I did that in the last video. Okay, so if I now go to edit mappings, you can now see that I now have this option because it recognizes that table name in my database. Okay, now what we can do at this point is we can now say you have to now make sure that the schema of both tables are the same, that the data types and the data structure is the same. The names may vary, yeah, the names may vary, but no problem, but the data type should not. So you can see it's not even allowing me to alter, and unfortunately I had changed this to fortunately I had changed this to big int from float. So you can see it's automatically highlighting this as big int, but in my previous video we had it as float. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just go ahead, select OK, next, and then it's still giving me that warning sign, next, finish it up, and then it loads, and I'm not expecting any error. So it has loaded my files for me. You can close, and let me go to my database so you can still see, just continuing from my last video. So all I can do is refresh this, and let's run a simple query to see how many files we have. So the first time we had 1,000 rows, and this time we had 1,020 rows. So if I say select everything from database to, not database to, sorry, from crime to present. And if I execute this, you can see I have 2020 rows of data, which shows that it has appended perfectly. All right, I hope I didn't make this so complicated. So if you not watched my previous video, I'd advise you to check that out and then come over to this one to get more clarity. All right, see you guys on my next video. Stay safe and keep upskilling.